The PlayStation 2 launch library is one of my favorites. Games like SSX, Ridge Racer 5, NHL 2001, Madden 2001, Swing Away Golf, other games. Some of my favorites. When I got my PlayStation 2 in early 2001, these were the games that I wound up getting when I got my console. But it really wasn't until later in 2001 that some of the really heavy hitters began to land. Games such as Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, a game that really pushed the PlayStation 2 limits and looks phenomenal, whether it's on a CRT or whether it's on an LCD TV. But even later in the year, we got some real heavy hitters. We're talking about sequels to games that we'd been waiting for years. Enter Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, released in late 2001 by Konami, developed by Kojima Productions. This game is one of the more divisive games in the series because of the way that it's played out. You only play half the game as the title character, Solid Snake. The other half of the game, you play as a character called Raiden, which you either really like me, or you really hate, like some other people. The game looks phenomenal, ran at 60 frames a second. You couldn't tell the difference in terms of whether the game was rendering the cutscenes on their own or whether they were FMV, but either way you looked at it, the game looked great, sounded great, and was a lot of fun to play. How about another game that's a pretty heavy hitter during this time period? Enter Grand Theft Auto 3. This is a still sealed copy that I have here in front of me. Released in late 2001, this is the game, right here, that redefined the open world genre and created so many copycats in the 6th console generation and beyond. It's a great game. I'm not the biggest fan because I'm not the biggest fan of open world games, but I can certainly understand why the game is catchy. It lets you do anything, go anywhere, create as much mayhem as you want. Plus the story is pretty good. The sound is great. I love the voice acting in the game. It's cool. I understand why people like it. For me, I just need a little bit more linear direction in my game choices. But nonetheless, this game has spawned a ton of sequels, including 2 other Grand Theft Auto sequels for the PS2. Probably heard of a game called Grand Theft Auto Vice City. This is my favorite of the trilogy for the PS2 because of the time period. I'm an 80s kid, so I'm going to love this game. And also Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. All 3 of these sealed copies from the Grand Theft Auto trilogy set for the PS2. I will open those on camera at some point down the road. But I'm not here to talk about those today. I know I've spent almost 3 minutes setting up. It's time to get to the main course. Why am I doing an Unsealed video today? Well, I want to talk a little bit about the Burnout series because the Burnout games have a very special place in my heart. Let's look again back at 2001, late in the year, and we have a game that comes out from Acclaim that not a lot of people know about. I've read about it in magazines and read a little bit about it in the limited internet service that I had, but it's a game called Burnout, published by Acclaim and developed by a studio called Criterion. This is a straight arcade racing game. We're not talking about car management here. We're talking about full-on speed, get to the finish line, try and be first, and you can be pretty reckless in doing so. As a matter of fact, the game encourages reckless driving behavior. Want to drive in the oncoming traffic? Sweet, that's exactly what the game wants you to do. The more of that you do, or the more near misses that you have, or the more drifting you do around a track, the more your burnout meter rises. It's basically a turbo boost meter, and when it gets full, you can floor it full throttle and gain some ground on your competition or even go further ahead. But be careful, because this game is not like a Ridge Racer 5 where you bounce off of other cars or you bounce off of walls. If you hit another car, doesn't matter whether it's a competitor or just standard traffic, or if you hit a wall at the wrong speed, your car is going to get wrecked. We're talking about glass flying everywhere, parts coming off of the car, and your car even flipping around 2, 3, 4 times. It's really cool to watch, especially back in late 2001 where we were really starting to see what the PS2 could do. This game was phenomenal. And this game got a lot of play from me once I finished Metal Gear Solid 2. In fact, I played this more than Grand Theft Auto 3. But was there going to be a sequel? Who knows? The game was pretty cool by me, but I don't know if it sold enough to spawn a sequel, but it did. Enter Burnout 2: Point of Impact, released in 2002 by Acclaim and published by Acclaim and developed once again by Criterion Studios. More of the same? Yeah. There are some new track layouts. There are some new cars, some new car designs. There's a mode called Driving School that shows you the in and outs of how to play the game. But to me, the best part of Burnout 2 isn't the racing this time. It is a mode called Crash Junction mode. Crash Junctions are a lot of fun. Let me explain how they work really quickly. You're going to be set up on an intersection or a stretch of road where there's a bunch of traffic. You don't navigate through this traffic or through this intersection. What you want to do is you want to create a chain reaction crash that causes as much monetary damage as possible. The more damage that you incur, the higher a medal you can get, from bronze to silver to gold, depending on the goal. It is a lot of fun trying to figure out where to hit the vehicles or the timing to cause a crash to create the biggest chain reaction. And playing through the crash junctions here took up a lot of my time. In fact, it wasn't too long before I stopped playing the racing and started playing the crash junctions almost exclusively. The PS2 version is really good. The GameCube version has a few extra crash junctions, so if you can land that to play either on your GameCube or your GameCube compatible Wii, I strongly recommend it. But then, well, Acclaim filed for bankruptcy. So Criterion was a developer without a publisher. What are we going to do with the Burnout series? We've had 2 moderately successful games, but now we don't know what to do. Enter Electronic Arts, and the subject for today's Unsealed video, Burnout 3 Takedown. This is a still sealed black label copy from 2004, which is when the game was released. Again, published by Electronic Arts and developed by Criterion Studios. Burnout 3 Takedown. The cool part of the game is in the title. Takedowns now allow you to take down or cause other racers to crash. And these crashes are sick to look at. Whereas the crashes for the first 2 games happen pretty much in real time and were kind of detailed, the crashes here are much more detailed. They take place in slow motion, so they let you watch the crash as it happens. It is so cool to look at. The track designs are much better, at least in my opinion. There are new game modes that have been added, such as Road Rage, which is just a takedown series where you get to try and crash as many cars as you possibly can, in the time allotted. And also, the crash junctions come back, and all of this in sweet, sweet 60 frames per second animation. I cannot recommend this game enough. It is the apex, the top of the mountain, the best in the series in my opinion. Some people think it's Burnout Paradise. Nah, I don't think so. That's just me though. But this game, for me, I can play this every day and not get sick of it. And now I have a still sealed black label copy of this game, and for the first time since it was minted back in 2004, I am going to take the wraps off of it, and I'm very excited for this. It's also taken me a couple of takes to try and figure out where to open this guy so it doesn't take 20 minutes to open. But as you can hear, and as you can see, I'm taking the wrapping off, putting that in the trash. Here, by the way, is the security label. We're going to take that label off. Oh man, this is so cool. Because my copy of Burnout 3 Takedown that I have is a copy I got from GameStop, and it's not in the best of shape. So now I'm going to have a copy that is pristine. So let's go ahead and we'll open it up. When we open the case, you can see, let me do that there. You can see the disc right here with the car crash graphic on it, and the manual over here on the left-hand side. If we take a look at the manual really quickly. By the way, this is a DVD-ROM, so as long as your PlayStation 2 still reads the silver-backed DVD discs, you're okay. The manual is not in color. This was something that was starting to happen by 2004, and that's fine. There are some pictures of the game in here. Also talking about, I didn't even talk about crash breakers, which are a really cool element of the crash junctions, where when you had those, you could make your car just blow up and damage cars within a certain radius around you. Just so cool. So yeah, Burnout 3 Takedown. This is a fantastic game, one that I hope will be considered for remastering at some point in the future, but is the best in the series in my opinion. And if you've not played it yet and you have access to a PlayStation 2, I don't just encourage, I am telling you, you should go and you should try it as soon as you possibly can. It is a lot of good fun. And that's it for today's Unsealed episode. We will do some more soon. I have tons of games waiting to open just for you guys. But until the next time, that's all I got. See ya.